Hey guys, this is E10 Sun from SunBros. Today I'm really excited to be bringing you guys this brand new video. But before we get started with that, I want to make sure I remind you guys on how to get entered in for a chance to win our guaranteed skin giveaways that we do every Sunday night during our 1-hour question and answer live stream. All you gotta do is make sure you're subscribed to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and comment below with your in-game name and which skin you'd like to receive on either the NA or EU servers under 700 vouchers. And remember, the more videos that you do this with that are uploaded each week, the higher chance you have to win. Alright guys, let's go ahead and get started with our newest how to build video. Today we're covering Preta, and if you guys follow the channel, you guys know that I think Preta is one of the most underrated mages in the game, and I would definitely put him in the top 3 right now. Preta is a very difficult mage to play, but he has some incredible damage potential, some good survivability, honestly, with his ultimate, and of course some decent crowd control with his displacement of his second ability. So let's go ahead and take a look at what Preta is, who he is, what he does, what his strengths and his weaknesses are, so we can best figure out how to build him before we go and jump into the equipment page. Alright guys, so Preta's passive is Flying Dragon. The Flag Wyvern, which is the wyvern that Preta obviously is flying on, boosts his movement speed. So he has a movement speed boost on his passive. Ability number 1, Plague Spectre. Preta charges his Plague Spectre for up to 2 seconds, then unleashes it and deals magic damage. And it's a scaling magic damage that is based on the amount of channeling time. The longer Preta charges, the further the ability reaches. Any action taken while charging will unleash the Spectre immediately to deal reduced damage. In the Disciple of the Plague state, which is his ultimate state, movement is possible while charging. So he can actually hit the button, hit his first ability, and then move around while the Plague Wyvern actually charges up separately, which is actually really strong for him to do. So the cooldown on Plague Spectre is 6 seconds. It goes all the way up to, actually it doesn't move at all, sorry. It stays at 6 seconds throughout all 6 levels. The damage is based on how long you, from 1 second, I think it's half a second, to 2 seconds that you charged it up. So you have to charge it up for at least half a second, I believe is the amount of time, and then the longer you charge up, from half a second all the way to 2 seconds, the damage increases from a base of 240 to 720 to start, all the way up to level 6, 540 to 1620, plus of course the magic damage scaling. Alright, so let's go to a second ability, Poison Gas Bomb. Preta detonates a poison bomb at the target location, knocking back surrounding enemies. So it's a circular explosion to knock back enemies into any direction that they are at from the center explosion point. Deals magic damage and reduces movement speed by 50% for 2 seconds. So it's a pretty decent slow, as well as being a knockback in and of itself. And then in the Disciple of the Plague state, the poison bomb is replaced by nether spikes, and they also stun the target for 1 second. So it's not a knockback anymore. I believe it's just a straight stun, which is nice. So cooldown starts at 14 seconds at level 1 and goes all the way down to 9 seconds at level 6. And then, of course, his ultimate is Disciple of the Plague. Preta fuses with the Wyvern Spirit and enters the Disciple of the Plague state for 10 seconds. 10 seconds is a F long time, by the way. That's an effing long time for sure. And, the amount of power that he has in this state is crazy. Immediately refreshing the cooldowns of Plague Spectre and Poison Gas Bomb. So, it also enhances their effects, which you just read on their next use. So, the enhanced first and second ability when he's in his ultimate state is only for the first use of them. So ideally you're going to cast both your abilities, then go into ultimate state and immediately be able to recast them again in powered style. So, but here we go, there's more to it. While in this state, Preta also receives a shield that absorbs damage. He gains 15% movement speed and 10% attack speed. Additionally, his normal attack's range is also significantly increased and inflicts magic damage, like an AoE magic damage. So the cooldown starts at 45 seconds, goes down to 35 at level 3. The shield goes from 500 to 1200 at level 3. And then the magic damage goes from 80 to 240. And far and away, the best part of Preta's kit is his ultimate, which, Preta gets a shield. He gets insane AoE damage on his auto attacks. He gets movement speed, attack speed, and he gets, you know, empowered abilities anyways. I mean, Preta is just very difficult to kill, does insane damage, has wild mobility. He's just unreally powerful when he's in his ultimate state. So we're gonna focus on how to make Preta's ultimate state not only happen more often, but also we're gonna focus on making it as powerful as possible, so that we can kind of like we do with Crash. We're gonna be choosing to fight as often as possible with Preta while he's in his ultimate state. Now, the great thing about Preta is, unlike Crash, who's very, very weak compared to his ultimate state when he's not ulting, Preta, on the other hand, is actually still fairly strong. He can still cast his first ability for a massive chunk of damage. He can still cast his second ability to knock back enemies and cause a decent slow, you know, very good displace. But when he's in his ultimate state, he's just a different monster. So that's where we're going to put our focus when we're talking about building him. All right, so let's go ahead and go to the equipment page. And first things first on Preta, we want to ensure that Preta has a strong early game, and we give him some sort of ramping up period, which is really solid to have for most mages. I actually think this is one of the best mage items in the entire game, and that's Orb of the Magi. Okay, so Orb of the Magi starts at 140 ability power and 10% cooldown reduction. So obviously right off the bat, we're enhancing all of his attacks, you know, across the board, not just his abilities, but his normal attacks or his auto attacks while he's in his ultimate form, with the 140 ability power. We're also getting 10% cooldown reduction to get to our ultimate even more frequently. Additionally, we get the unique passive Bide, in which he gains 12 ability power and 110 HP for every 30 seconds, and that stacks up to 10 times. So in 5 minutes time, Preta will gain 1100 health and another 120 ability power. That will give this item 260 ability power, which is second highest ability power in the entire game at that point. And then additionally, he gets the unique passive from the Ashes. When the hero gains a level, he also gains 20% of HP and mana are restored. So what does that mean to you? It means that you have more sustainability with Preta in lane, so you should not have to back as often. If you're running low on health, you have the option, or mana even, you have the option to kind of see how close you are to getting to your next level, because 20% is a nice chunk of health or mana, especially when you're talking about restore coming up and your little health pack behind your tower. I mean, it gives Preta options. So I love Orb of the Magi on him. I think it's a phenomenal item. High damage, cooldown reduction, some health for tankiness, which is going to make him even more of a monster in his ult form when he gets that massive shield. And of course, the sustainability that he needs early game. So first item. Next, we're going to be going to boots. And of course, we're going to be getting, actually, we're going to be getting a little bit of different things. So as we talked about frequently, one of the most common items that I suggest, you know, in this scenario is going to be Gilded Greaves, because of the passive resistance where you get to eliminate 35% of all crowd control effects on you. But Preta is got some of the longest range in the game. I haven't tested it out 100%. I don't know if he's the absolute best range in the game, but he is definitely amongst the best. His first ability, Plague Spectre, has massive range. His second ability, the bomb, the poison bomb, has got really good range. And then when he's in his ultimate, not only do his abilities continue to have great range, but Preta's auto attacks have great range in his ultimate. That's one of the things that they do. They increase the range of his auto attacks. So Preta has massive range, can really steer clear of danger on his own. Plus, when he's ulting, he gets that massive shield. So Gilded Greaves isn't as necessary on Preta as it is other heroes. What we really want to do is, I'd rather give him some more ability to get to his ultimate so he can continue to be a hard to kill boss, rather than giving a little bit of resistance to crowd control. So this is in a way making him more tanky by allowing him to be in his ult with a shield more frequently. Okay, so this is our first two items. Next, we're going to be going to an item that I don't like on very many heroes at all, but fits Preta's gameplay style 100%, and that is going to be to the magic section, and it's called Zweihander. Zweihander is 180 ability power, so some nice damage. 400 max mana to give Preta that sustain he really needs to be able to spam his first ability as he needs to clear lanes. When Preta gets to clear lanes with his first ability, he gets to roam, and when he gets to roam with that increased movement speed, he gets to bot and top faster, he gets into the enemy jungle faster when he needs to, he gets to dragon to help out, he gets to the objectives to help out. Preta is a great roamer because of that movement speed boost, and obviously Zweihander is also going to give him 8% movement speed. So this is going to help Preta tremendously between the mana and the movement speed, really be able to be a much more effective roamer. But that is not the reason that we're going to be getting this item. The reason we're buying Zweihander is because of the passives, both of them actually. The first one is Rapid Blade. Normal attack hits increase attack speed by 50% for 4 seconds. So one of the great things about Preta, as we've talked about, is the increased range and increased damage he gets from his auto attacks while he's ulting, and we're focusing on amplifying the ultimate as much as possible, making it as strong as we can, while also increasing the frequency in which we can cast that out with cooldown reduction. So Zweihander is going to, I mean, literally, you're going to go into it. The first auto attack you do with Zweihander in your ult phase is going to give you 50% attack speed for 4 seconds. The ultimate lasts 10 seconds, so for the first 4 seconds, your attack speed is going to be hugely buffed because of Zweihander, and it only has a 10-second cooldown. So it means that every time that we go into Preta's ultimate, we're going to have, you know, this boost of attack speed to really take advantage of that incredible attack range and auto attack AoE damage that Preta provides with his ult state, which is one of the best things about him. The second thing is the unique passive Twilight. Normal attacks gain additional magic damage equal to 20% of the hero's ability power. So that means that we're going to be doing more damage overall with each and every hit. So the more ability power that we build on Preta, the harder his auto attacks hit in and out of his ultimate, but really they're just going to strengthen the damage he does while he's in his ultimate state. So his auto attacks are going to be doing even more damage, and it makes Preta an absolute monster. So everything about Zweihander is everything about what Preta needs. It is a perfect item on him, and I'm just so pumped to be able to have that on him. All right. Next, we're going to be going in a fairly unique route, I like to think, and that is going to be to give Preta more absolute bossness in that ultimate. That's Rhea's Blessing. And I'll tell you why. Rhea's Blessing is not an item that is frequently taken on Preta. It's not like an item that is like, you know, one of those items that always has to go on Preta. People don't take it on Preta, you know, often. And it's a massive mistake, and I'll tell you why. Not only do you get the 10% cooldown reduction, which puts us so far at 30% CDR, we get 140 ability power, which isn't, you know, groundbreaking ability power, not great, but these passives are meant for Preta so much. Okay, so we have the first one. Gains a shield that absorbs 450 plus 50 per level, plus 40% ability power. So, when his health falls below 40%, the shield lasts for 4 seconds. Okay, so ideally, the Rhea's Blessing shield procs. Well, let me finish real quick the reading the description of the item. The second part is the unique passive Magic Life Shield. So you get 25% Magic Life Shield. Let me tell you why this item is so incredible on Preta. Your health falls below 40%. Rhea's Blessing shield procs. Boom, you get a massive shield. I mean, let's call it what it is. This shield could be for a few thousand. Hell, I mean, 450 plus 50 per level. Let's say you're level 15, your max level. So that's going to be 750. So now you're talking about, you know, 1200 shield plus 40% of your ability power. You could easily, let's just say you get 1400. So you're talking about, you know, talking about 600, 650 around there. So let's say your shield's about 2000. So you get a 2000 damage shield, and then you proc your ultimate. Your ultimate at this point, let's take a look at Preta. Let's take a look at Preta's. Okay, so the ultimate shield is, you're level 15, so you've got 3. So your 1200 is the baseline for your shield. Let's go to the rebalance section of Preta's thing here and see how he appears to be, what the scaling is on that ultimate shield. It's 1.2. So we said 1400. You know, is how much AP we're gonna end up with, and it's not exactly that. We'll do the math at the end. But so 1.2 is our AP scaling. So we're gonna end up with, you know, what is it, 1660 extra shield. So now we're talking about 2860 shield, you know, just throwing out random numbers. 2860 on the shield combined with the shield of the 2000 from that. Now we have a shield of almost 5000 that can absorb almost 5000 damage. So Preta is tanky because he has a massive shield protecting him from damage. Now throw on top of that the 25% lifesteal. Remember, Preta in his ult form has an enhanced first ability, an enhanced second ability, but more importantly, he has an enhanced, and remember on Zweihander, it makes the auto attacks hit harder, and it makes them hit harder, gives them more magic damage. And in our scenario where we have 1400 ability power, which is not crazy, we're talking about doing 20% more of the hero's ability power in auto attack. So now, just from this, we're talking about going up another 260 or 280 rather. So 280 extra ability power per attack. We get, and obviously they're obviously also strengthened from his just being in his ultimate is 80, so it's 240 base. Let's just take a quick look again at what the scaling is for that. It's 0.4, so it's 40%. So if we talk about 14, we're talking about again 600, 650 in that ballpark. So now Preta's autos attacks are hitting for let's see, 240. It's about, his auto attacks are hitting for probably 1300. I've done the math before. They hit hard as balls. They hit hard, guys. And then we're life stealing all the damage, 25% of the damage done. So we're regaining 250, 300, 350 health per auto attack per person hit. Remember, it's AoE now, so we can hit 3 people with the same exact shot. And then that's not, of course, including the health we're going to get back from our Plague Specters, our Plague Specters, our Enhanced Plague Specters, or, of course, our Poison Gas Bomb and our Enhanced Poison Gas Bomb. So at this point, Preta gets to get a 4,000 to 5,000 damage shield, and he gets to get health back at an alarmingly fast rate. Before you know it, Preta's got a big old shield on, and he's full health again. The ultimate isn't just a high damage potential, it's also a high living potential when you use this build. So now we're sitting at Preta, we're doing some good damage, but we are very hard to kill. We have some massive tankiness when we're in that ultimate mode. Okay, so then we're going to go to the next magic item, which is going to be Staff of Null. And the reason why Staff of Null is so important on this build, and it should not be ignored, and I have in the past ignored Staff of Null on Preta, and I won't make that mistake again because I figured out how powerful Staff of Null is, because it doesn't mean as much to his abilities. His Plague Spectre, his Poison Gas Bomb, those benefit from Staff of Null, but where it really makes a big difference is the auto attacks that he does in his ultimate phase are going to do a tremendous more damage with Staff of Null, but they're also going to heal you more. I mean, everything about Staff of Null on him when he's ulting is phenomenal. So you get 180 ability power, you get 10% cooldown reduction, which maxes out at the full 40% now. And then, of course, we get the Magic Pierce plus 48%. So now we're eating through everyone's magic damage, not only with our abilities, but with our massive, long-range, AoE damage auto attack. So Preta is getting to be doing some nasty damage. And, of course, how do we finish the build off like this? Well, Preta is going to be dominating the enemies in his ult mode. Only one way to do it, and that, of course, is the cased item. We're going to get 200 more ability power. We're going to get plus 35% on the ability power via the passive Warlock, and the unique passive that gives us just 75% Magic Pierce. So we're going to get a little bit more Magic Pierce. We're getting a ton of ability power. And let's do the math. Let me pull up the calculator as we do from time to time in these bad boys, and let's see how much magic damage we're talking about. So let's go to our first item, which is going to max out at 260 for Orb of the Magi. Then we're going to go to Zweihander, which is going to give us 180. Then we're going to go to Rhea's Blessing, which is going to give us 140. Then, of course, we're going to go to Staff of Null for another 180. Then we're going to go to Hikate's Item for 200. 1160. Plus, we're going to multiply that times 1.35 because of the bonus that we're getting from Hakete's diadem, 35% bonus. And we're at 1566 on our ability damage. So now we're at, so I was a little low on my guesstimations of 1400. So we're at 1566, not including Arcana, okay? And not including Preta's base ability power, which actually I don't think he has any. I don't think anyone has any base ability power. Let's double check. I think ability power is a null. Ability power is always 0 as a base for the most part. Okay, so 1566, not including Arcana. Sick amount. We'll add the Arcana in there, but you guys can see what I'm talking about. The shields are going to be big. The auto attack damage is going to be huge in his ultimate form. The lifesteal is going to be massive. I mean, everything about this build screams sexy, awesome, big. Then what we're going to do after we hit this point, if you have the cash in the end game, you know, this is a fairly cheap build, guys. We have Orb of the Magi at 2010. These boots are 760. Zweihander is a fairly cheap item at 1970. Rhea's Blessing is a little bit more expensive at 2220, but Staff of Null 2050, and of course Hakete's item 200. It's not a very expensive build. It doesn't have any of the big items, so getting here and maybe going over is not that hard. And the item you're going to want to get when you sell boots, of course, Holy Holies. Give him more health, make him even tankier in his ult form, and give him 400 ability power just so that he can wreck everything in existence. Alright guys, that is the Preta build that we're going to be coming out with, and I am telling you, it is going to be disgusting. Preta doesn't really need more than one build. This is the correct way to play Preta. Play Preta to his strengths, which is his phenomenal ultimate, where you can go bananas and no one can stop you. So this is the Preta build that we are putting out there. Next, let's take a look at the Arcana. Nothing crazy or controversial about his Arcana. We are going, all right, so let's take a look at his Arcana that we're going to be taking on him. For red, we're going to be going Violet. It's going to be 4.2 ability power, 42 ability power when you buy 10, and of course 24 magic pierce, so give us more early game magic pierce so we can win lane more effectively. Then we're going to go to purples, and we're going to be buying, not Sap, we're going to be buying Devour for 24 more ability power and 1% magic lifesteal. So now, when we're using magic lifesteal with Rhea's Blessing, we're going to have a total of 35%. So we're going to be healing up 35% of our damage, which is just ridiculous. And then for green, we're actually going to be going... This is one where we go in a little bit of a different direction. We're going to be going Flurry for the attack speed and the magic pierce. Attack speed is awesome on him because, of course, it makes his ult more powerful. We're only going to get 6%, but it's 6% we didn't have, and we're going to get 64 magic pierce, which is just awesome. So that is it, guys. That is the Arcana for my guy Preta. Now let's go to talents. We have a couple different routes we can take here. The two that I'm going to really point out to you guys, I'll point out three to you. Heal, because heal is always nice to have. It's always nice to be able to heal you and your surrounding teammates. Endure is probably the strongest mage talent out there right now, just to be able to survive for 1.5 seconds. You know, on Preta, that may be the difference between your second ability being up, so you can knock somebody back away from you and get safety, or Purify. If you're having, you know, issues getting really hard to crowd control, you shouldn't be, because you should be playing so far back that people can't really get to you. If that is an issue, Purify is a possibility, or as I'll throw in a fourth, that'd be Flicker. So you can do Flicker if you absolutely need to. But guys, that is it for the Preta build video. This is the build once again. To recap: Orb of the Magi, Flashy Boots, Zweihander, Rhea's Blessing, Staff of Null, and of course Hakete's diadem. Massive damage, massive ult tankiness, massive, you know, ultimate damage, and just chaos that he's gonna wreck on the enemy team. And of course 40% cooldown reduction that we so desperately want to be able to get to his ultimate. And let's just recap real quick in the hero page for Preta and see when his ultimate, so when we get the 40% cooldown reduction, you know, his first ability starts at 6 seconds. After you do 40% of that, you're going to be looking at taking 2.4 seconds off of that, which is going to put it at you know, 4.6 second cooldown. Oh no, sorry, 3.6 second cooldown. And then we got the poison gas bomb going to go down to 9 at level 6, and 40% off that is going to be 3.6 seconds off, which puts it at 5.4 for poison gas bomb cooldown reduction. And then from 35, we're going to go down 14 seconds down to 21 seconds. For the ultimate lasts for 10 seconds. Now we can cast it every 21, which means you're only going to have to be without his ultimate every 11 seconds in the game. Just amazing. And that's one of the things I love about Preta. Preta can be in his ultimate end game almost all the time. So that is it, guys. One more recap of the build. Orb of the Magi, Flashy Boots, Zweihander, Rhea's Blessing, Staff of Null, and Hecate's Diadem. That is our Preta how to build video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And as always, until next time.